What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to have a discussion about realism and immersion with Modern Warfare 2. This is an especially hot topic this time around with Modern Warfare 2 compared to the past couple years of COD because, at this point, people tend to expect a more realistic looking and feeling game out of Infinity Ward versus the other studios. So I wanted to share my thoughts on this, and it turns out this is actually quite a nuanced topic because there's a lot that goes on with realism and immersion in Call of Duty. And for most of you guys that have been around the channel for a while, you'll likely know my stance on realism when it comes to gameplay design. For the Call of Duty franchise, if we're looking at a gameplay element, in my opinion, gameplay quality should always trump realism. Call of Duty isn't and never has been a milsim or a realistic sort of a shooter. It's always been much more along the lines of an arcadey style shooter, where sort of the gameplay comes first and then you have the skins and the realism and everything on top of that, but gameplay design isn't sacrificed for the sake of realism. I think one of the easiest ways I could state this is gameplay altering decisions should never be made in Call of Duty because it's more realistic. Instead, gameplay altering decisions should always be made because it's good for the gameplay, and then with that in mind, try to make things look as immersive or realistic as possible without interfering with that gameplay decision. So some of the areas where I really like that they focus on realism is when it comes to sort of the theme and the tone or the setting, the cosmetics on operators, for instance, which we're going to be talking about quite a bit later in the video. And then a lot of the little details that they really nailed in Modern Warfare 2019, like the operators actually having trigger discipline. That's something they fixed, I think, after the beta. Or the little audio details like the ejected casings when you fire, hitting different surfaces and making a different sound depending on what kind of surface they hit. Or reasonably realistic weapon modifications that you can make in the gunsmith. So you can't build a gun that literally doesn't exist in real life or wouldn't even function if it were built that way in real life. And then I also like a certain amount of realism when it comes to things like the animations. I like realistic looking animations as long as those animations don't completely interfere with the gameplay design decisions. So that's my general stance on this topic. Gameplay should always come first, but outside of that, I like it when they make Call of Duty look and feel as immersive and realistic as possible. So this brings me to one of my big hopes for Modern Warfare 2, and that is, can we not have skins like this? At least not for the first several seasons of the game. It would be great to see operator skins and blueprints that are at least somewhat grounded in reality, that don't completely pull you out of the gameplay experience. Like, I understand it's Call of Duty, microtransactions are a big part of how they make money, and in order to make those attractive, you want to make sure that they're really flashy and they stand out and they're exciting for people to buy. So I don't expect every single operator skin or every single weapon blueprint to be 100% authentic and true to what you would actually see in a battlefield in real life. But at the bare minimum, can we at least keep the operators actually human? Because this particular skin right here, which is the one that pulls me out of Vanguard the most as I'm playing it, this just looks completely ridiculous to me, and while I would have expected something like this to be added at some point throughout the life cycle of the game, usually later on in the life cycle of a Call of Duty game, that's where they tend to get a little bit wacky and silly with cosmetics, this particular bundle was added in February. Like, we only got a few months before we started seeing completely ridiculous skins like this. And especially if Modern Warfare 2 turns out to be a 2-year Call of Duty, which all of the leaks and rumors are suggesting, I hope we can get a lot more than just a few months of at least somewhat grounded immersion when it comes to operators. And I think I'm even fairly forgiving with my opinions on this, like the Red Team 141 operator pack that you get for pre-ordering the Vault Edition. This is what the operator skins are going to look like, and yeah, they're not really all that realistic. You likely wouldn't be seeing a squad of guys in real life dressed up like this with these masks and everything like that. But I will admit, they look really cool, they are at least human, and I guess it's at least somewhat conceivable that there's some wacky special forces team out there that would dress themselves up a little bit in some way to maybe look a little more intimidating or something. At least with these skins, I can suspend disbelief to some extent, and it wouldn't completely pull me out of the sort of immersive experience of the game. So at least for the first few seasons of the game, I'd love to see this sort of being the threshold, the limit. I wouldn't want to see them push it too far beyond what we're seeing here. And I think that's very achievable while still having some really cool looking operator skins. I mean, if we do look back at Modern Warfare 2019, they actually did a great job bringing in a lot of very reasonable, realistic, immersive operator skins to the game that also looked really cool and were very desirable to the point where people were buying bundles to get them. So I really hope that they can go at least a good handful of seasons, keeping things at least reasonably grounded and immersive in the game. Now, at the end of the day, it is Call of Duty, and I don't expect them to maintain that forever. I do expect that once we get a little bit further into the life cycle of the game, things are going to start to get wacky. There's probably going to be some collaborations with movies or TV shows or whatever to create certain operators that are in the game. Or there might be like seasonal events, for instance, where you have a bit of a theme attached to your operator. I get that. I just would like to see at least several good months of playing the game without seeing a clown or a villain from a horror movie from the past or an alien or something like that running around the map. Now, one solid suggestion I've heard in the past that I think would be excellent to give us the choice to see, but unfortunately I don't think we ever will see something like this. It would be nice if you just allowed people to control a setting for themselves where they can enable an immersion filter, let's just call it. So they turn that on, and then anybody that's using a completely wacky out there skin, that would be classified under a non-immersive skin, it would automatically just default them to a more grounded skin, but only for you. That's all you see, whereas everybody else that has that disabled, they will see the skin they're actually using. I'm not too sure how difficult that would be on a technical level, but I think that would be a really cool feature that could please both sides. But unfortunately, like I said, it's highly unlikely we'd ever see anything like that because at the end of the day, they want to show off those wacky skins and stuff to people in order to try to entice them to buy that bundle. So since that seems like way too much of a stretch, at the very least, one thing I think would be really cool for them to bring back is the Realism mode from Modern Warfare 2019, but with one key adjustment, and that is default skins in that mode. So you don't get to choose your specific operator skin at all, and instead it would just default to the most realistic operator skin for whatever operator that you are using. And I think that would really fit nicely in that Realism mode because the people that are playing the Realism mode tend to be the types that really care about that realism and immersion, and that's specifically what they're looking for when they search for that mode. So I feel like that's an area where they should be providing that as part of the mode. Outside of that though, I don't really know what the true solution is to this issue with Call of Duty. For many people, they won't even see this as an issue, and that's fine and understandable. Like I said, Call of Duty never really has been a mil-sim type of a game, and it's kind of expected at this point to get some wacky, crazy skins. I just hope that they don't take it too far with Modern Warfare 2, and it would be nice to have some breathing room where things are more grounded and realistic before they start getting too wacky. But with that, that's going to wrap it up for my thoughts on this particular topic, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on having more grounded, realistic, or immersive skins and other cosmetics versus having crazy anime bundles or horror villains or potentially even some kind of an alien that you can play as in Modern Warfare 2? Where do you draw that line, if at all? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.